taking some time to watch this training today. We're excited to just share a little bit about what Farm to School is and then how you as Master Gardeners can be involved. So my name is Sophie Lindley, and I am the Farm to School coordinator for the Department of Education. And then John, I'll let you introduce yourself.
And I'm John Orick. I'm the state coordinator for the Purdue Extension Master Gardener program.
All right, so today we're going to go through Farm to School and look at the benefits of it and dig into the different pillars that are within Farm to School, and then look at the resources that are out there for schools or you guys as you're kind of maybe helping with schools, and then the support organizations that are out there. And then we'll look at training and how you guys can be involved in that, in all of this process. So starting off, there are three pillars of Farm to School, and those are local procurement, so bringing food from your local community or the state or the region into the cafeteria. A school maybe having a school garden, or a school having an ag and nutrition education program, whether that be, with younger kids, like early childhood education, all the way through high school. There's different opportunities for them to be involved. There are just a plethora of benefits when it comes to Farm to School, but some of them that we focus on are really the economic benefit of, keeping food dollars or keeping dollars within a local food economy, and therefore, paying it back to either our state food producers or your community food producers, just really helping to boost that economy within your local system. We also look at the public health benefit of it because as kids are learning more about where their food comes from, it really helps them to be better decision makers when it comes to what they're putting in their bodies while they're in school, going through the lunch line, eating school cafeteria food. And as they also get older, just really having this understanding of food and how it impacts their body. Overall, it's just a great education opportunity. It's a great topic for to really expand kids' minds into thinking about where our food is grown, but also soil and the environment. Kind of getting into this environmental benefit of kids understanding these topics more and being better. Just better educated on them. There's not always, standards around them within the school setting, and so this can be a great opportunity for kids to be knowledgeable on these topics. And then last, being more engaged with their community. So, you guys as master gardeners that might be coming into a school, that is a great way for the schools and the community to kind of really be engaged. And then also, if a school's buying food locally from a local producer, it's another great way for really the schools and the community to just be kind of one and the same and have that involvement together. So starting off, we'll talk about local procurement, and really that means, like I said, there's no specific definition around local procurement. Schools sometimes get it from their local community, which is great, but we also promote, just buying food from Indiana when you can, or even buying food from the Midwest when you can, to really keep that food local and also build relationships with the farmers that you're potentially purchasing from. Some school highlights that we have here are just some fun pictures that these were all purchased locally up in Northwest Indiana. And then there's also some awesome programs going on in the state where kids are actually producing, they're raising cattle, they're raising pigs, they're processing it off site, and then the school cafeteria is purchasing that meat back. And then, obviously there's gardens that some of them purchasing the food straight from the school garden into the cafeteria, which is a really, really holistic program for the kids to be seeing. The second pillar is the school garden pillar. And we talk about, growing in all different ways. So if you don't have space outside and you just want to grow some herbs or something in a windowsill, that's awesome. That shows kids how things are grown. Or there's different ways to grow outside, as you guys know. If you have just a pot, you could grow something in, or in ground, anything like that. Schools really use these gardens for a lot of different reasons. Just the learning aspect of it, but also sometimes kids can go out and taste the vegetables, which is such a fun way for them to be engaged with the food that they're eating. And then sometimes it's a way for schools to raise money. So a lot of times these garden programs aren't funded anyway, and so if they can, grow something that they could sell, or have some schools have plant start sales or anything like that. So those are some ways that they use school gardens. And again, just some fun photo highlights. So some composting programs, some raised beds. This school was turning a plot of land into some in-ground beds. And then this school actually has a farm to school coordinator on site, which is awesome. So he does a lot of education for all of their kids. And then the last pillar is agri-nutrition education. And this comes into all the different grades. Like I said, there's a high school pathway that's all about agriculture. And so that's really developed, and there's a lot of different specific courses within that. But then there's also agriculture education that's happening all throughout the grade levels, which is really great. And it's just, again, helping kids to see this connection of where our food comes from and then how it affects our body. So looking at the nutrition side of things and helping kids to learn all about that. And again, this is important because it helps kids to develop critical thinking skills around their purchasing, in future decisions, and then also while they're in school, again, just as they're eating at school and helping to nourish their body better. So again, some ideas of how this is utilized. So sometimes they're linked to school gardens, having great lessons and activities in the classroom setting, taste tests, cooking lessons, and then sometimes kids will go on field trips to different farms. And again, just really promoting that education side of things. One program that we have with Indiana Grown for Schools, which is kind of our state network that I'll talk about in a little bit, but we have a lot of different resources on specific produce items. So let's pick tomatoes. So if you're wanting to focus on tomatoes and an educator is wanting to teach kids about tomatoes, there's a flyer about them with different fun facts, and there's some classroom lesson plans that you can utilize. And so just a lot of great resources around the Harvest of the Month program. And then there's also some videos that take you out to different produce farms that can, again, show kids how their different foods are grown right from their classroom, which is pretty fun. This school, Greenwood Community Schools, has an awesome agriculture program. They have just a lot of different components to it, a lot of different classes involved. So you see there, they were building kind of their area for hydroponics, and then they had some plant starts there, and then they have just several of those kind of rows of hydroponic systems. So now we're going to look at briefly the support organizations and resources. So in these slides that we'll send out, they have different links to all the different resources here. But as you can see, there's several national organizations that are working on these efforts of Farm to School. And then here in Indiana, we mainly have the Indiana Grown for Schools Network, which is made up of several different stakeholders. It's run by Brianna Good, who is the Farm to School coordinator at the Department of Health, and then it encompasses myself at the Department of Education and someone from the Department of Agriculture and many different other individuals that really have great perspectives and are doing great work within the state. So we gather and kind of help direct where the state is going. And then there's also some regional partners. So if you in the Northwest and Northeast, there's some really strong teams. And then there's also just some additional partners at play here, obviously Purdue Extension, and then a few others that kind of have different programs going on, but their organization is not specific to Farm to School. So I've been mentioning the Farm to School Network. So as I said, this is really just a collaborative network of the steering team that I mentioned before, but then also all the members throughout the state that are involved. And there are some great toolkits that we have online that really walk through the different pillars. And then here, the fourth one that you see is talking specifically about Farm to School for younger kiddos. So Farm to ECE, we say, early childhood education. And then we also have, as I said, a Harvest of the Month database. There's lots of webinars, some procurement resources for schools, and then a farm to school recognition program for schools that are, doing great work. And we really want to start kind of promoting those efforts and letting everyone in the state know about the work that they're doing. So next I'm going to turn it over to John, and he's going to talk more about how you guys can be involved and what that will look like.
Thank you very much, Sophia. And I just want to thank you for inviting Purdue Extension Master Gardener Program to be a part of this project and to work with Indiana Grown in the Farm to School program. I think it's just a fabulous program. There's some great opportunities for Purdue Extension Master Gardener volunteers here, and we want to highlight just a few ideas here in the slide. The first thing I would want to say is that Purdue Extension Master Gardener volunteers that watch this should talk to their county coordinator about ideas and how you can play a role in this program, and you certainly want to partner with your coordinator in this program and to offer the support so they can offer you support as you volunteer in various activities related to this. So some of those activities might be helping to plan gardens with the garden lead at that school and help them determine which plants would grow best in that area, how to prepare the soil, how to prepare the bed, help with educational signage, whatever it might be. And Master Gardeners are very proficient at all of those skills and have great experiences that they can lend to this project in that area. You can also provide guidance with problems that might come up throughout the season and help them learn how to grow those plants and solve those problems within the garden. And then lastly, Master Gardeners are trained to provide education and information, research-based information from Extension to the local communities. What a great way to do that through gardening lessons for classes or clubs related to the Farm to School program. So there isn't a set curricula for this or lessons plan, but there are some resources, and we'll share some of those later. And Sophia has also shared some of them through Farm to School. So I think those could also be utilized. So certainly when you're tracking your hours, you should definitely talk to your coordinator, make sure that whatever role you play is appropriate for you as a Purdue Extension Master Gardener volunteer. And I've created a category in our MG Manager volunteer reporting system called Farm to School. So you could just report your hours under that. That would be I'd be very appreciative of that. We can track the hours that are contributed towards this project statewide and within your county, and that'll be very helpful. The time commitment is determined really by your level of commitment and availability and willingness. And that's something you want to talk to your coordinator and to the local leads with these projects through Farm to School. I'm sure they can be very flexible with your schedule and your availability. And then so some of the next steps, certainly I've said this a couple times already, well, you're used to me hearing me say this, but talk to your coordinator about your interest and about possible approved volunteer activities and any further requirements. Whenever we work with youth in programs that are sponsored or partially sponsored by Purdue University and potentially registered with the Youth Protection at Purdue, there is some required youth protection staff training that you would have to complete, and your coordinator can help you know whether that's required in your situation as you work with this program. And coordinators should contact Sophia or Sophie Lindley, and if they have volunteers interested, and Sophie can help connect volunteers with local schools in your area, and she'll be a great resource for that to help you get started. There's really no additional gardening training that's necessary, but if you'd like more resources on how to prepare for helping out, you can certainly reach out to Sophie and the program, and they can help you find those resources. So one of the resources at Purdue that is actually a Texas A&M program is the Junior Master Gardener program. And our state coordinator for the Junior Master Gardener program at Purdue is Dr. Catherine Orvis. And certainly she can answer any of your questions related to the program or eligibility to use the curriculum. But there's a Junior Master Gardener Guide and Youth Handbook, a great tool with great lessons. The Learn, Grow, Eat, Go is a great curriculum for elementary students. And there's one for early childhood audiences. It's a 4-week multifaceted curriculum that combines plant and garden education. There's lots of great resources there. Again, Dr. Catherine Orvis can assist our coordinators with questions about accessing this curricula to be used with Farm to School, and there is a Junior Master Gardener website at Purdue. Sophie and I want to thank you very much for watching this video and for potentially volunteering in this project. And again, Sophie, thank you for inviting us to be a part of this and partner with Farm to School.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, everyone.